to finish, to go show the good performance end of the fight,
And you dropped him with that head kick in the second. Did you think you were going to be able to get him out of there in that moment?
I just saw in some media, he happy I don't have big leg, I just catch him with my fingers, and it's good shot, After that, I try to land it some punch, go crazy, don't control my emotion, and almost finish him.
How do you feel physically after the fight?
Round, Ian was saying something to you, kind of trying to give you a hug, touching you on the head. Beginning of the 5th round, he high-fived you. Dana White said he hates that. He wished you guys would just...
Bro, honestly, I don't understand, man. This is the fight. This is not something we have to, hug each other every round, We're going to war to broke the face, to broke the eye, That's why I respect all my opponents. But Ian, I don't know. He respect too much.
What did he say to you after the fight? Because it looked like he came in.
He just said, "I fight today with the greatest fighter." Yeah, I respect him. He's a good guy, very kind. But this is the war. Look my face. I just come to beat everybody. Of course, this is some of them give 1 round or 4th rounds, but I feel I won the 3 rounds, before the last round, But Khabib and all corners say you have to win the last round. And on the last round, I feel I can take him down, do something more, because this 3rd and 4th round not very tough, and I have power to finish, to go show the good performance end of the fight.
The highly anticipated showdown between Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry is now over, giving fans the opportunity to compare the fight with the predictions made before the event. Ahead of the matchup, analysts identified 2 contrasting paths to victory. Garry's height, reach, movement, and long-range striking were considered major advantages, particularly if he could keep the fight standing. Makhachev, meanwhile, was expected to rely on his wrestling, pressure, and ability to control positions once he closed the distance. With both fighters bringing different skill sets, the biggest question was whether Garry could prevent Islam from establishing his preferred style. Tim.
I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy. When there's so much at stake, and there's also, a lot of mental, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy, and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck.
Welch highlighted Garry's physical advantages and praised his ability to fight effectively from the outside with long punches, kicks, and constant movement. However, Welch still gave Makhachev the advantage because of his experience and all-around MMA ability. Alexander Volkanovski, who has previously faced Islam, also stressed the importance of Garry avoiding extended periods on the ground. In his assessment, Garry could create opportunities with his range and cage movement, but allowing Makhachev to establish top control could make the fight increasingly difficult.
Rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy. When there's so much at stake, and there's also, a lot of mental, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy, and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck.
Demetrius Johnson also favored Makhachev. pointing to the champion's experience against elite competition and his ability to read situations and adjust during a fight. Johnson believed Garry needed to maintain his distance, establish his jab, and avoid giving Islam easy opportunities to enter the clinch. Michael Bisping focused on the fence, explaining that Makhachev becomes particularly dangerous when he can pressure an opponent into that position and connect his takedowns with top control and submission threats. Henry Cejudo expected Garry's movement and striking to create challenging moments, while Teddy Atlas emphasized Garry's height, reach, jab, straight right, and kicking game as potential tools for keeping Islam at distance.
I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. I felt like the upset could happen tonight with so much on the line, all the records that Islam has, and he's going to break Anderson Silva's record. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands. And if that shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also, a lot of mental, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck, wish I could do that over again. If he came out and tried to destroy and win that last round, with everything that he had, I think it's a totally different fight.
Those were the major predictions heading into the fight, but the Octagon ultimately provided the final answer. The central tactical question was always whether Garry could maintain enough space to make his striking effective, or whether Makhachev would eventually find opportunities to close the distance and implement his grappling.
Islam went out, the complete opposite now, against a bigger, strong, rangy guy who has good takedown defense, controlled him, shut him down. I don't know if he was in his head and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight. When I went in after the fight and Ian Garry came over and shook my hand, Ian Garry's handshake is like a fucking vice grip, and he is a big, powerful, rangy guy. And, for Islam to go in and do what he did to him tonight, physical and mental, if you to come out of that fucking corner like a raging fucking bull, we might be having a different conversation right now.
Do you feel like Ian's too nice to his opponents? At the press conference, he wanted to build Islam up. He's been nice about him all week.
I think that Ian's a classy guy is what I think. And, he always shows class. He did, before the fight, he goes over and shakes, all the corners' hands and all that stuff. It's great. But when that fucking bell rings, you got to switch. You got to switch all that shit off and go. And you definitely got to do it in the 5th round after he fought a great fight against Islam, who, everybody in this room and everybody else is saying, well, we might start talking about GOAT. You don't go shake the fucking GOAT's hand going into the 5th round. You come out to fucking annihilate him. I mean, that just has to be your mindset, in my humble opinion.
Now that the matchup has played out, fans can look back at each prediction and determine which analysts identified the key factors correctly and which expectations failed to materialize. What did you think of the fight, and which expert came closest to predicting the outcome? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more UFC news, fight analysis, and post-fight coverage.